Okay, if you're feeling too crazy, then you come back to your breath when you hear the sound of the bell. Okay, so let's all do that and do a check-in. Okay, sit beautifully. See how we're feeling. Also, you check in with your body too. Okay, one thing is your feeling, the other is your body. Is it relaxed? Does it feel like you want to jump around like a popcorn? Just sit and just make it calm like a mountain, like you learn, okay? So you also, when you hear the sound of the bell, you also sit and become a mountain. And see if you can stay very still. Don't let your friend bother you. So you close your eyes. If they make noise, they touch you, ignore it. Just come back to your breath. So close your eyes. Once your eyes is closed, you have another eye, your eye of awareness. See? You see that? With your eyes closed, you can still see. You feel your body. You can see everyone in the room. You don't need to open your eyes. Follow your breathing, and you see your breath, meaning you feel your breath. You're with your breath. You feel your body, and you examine your body. You see your body. Okay, everyone sit and close your eyes, all right? And the three sounds of the bell, let's see how far we can listen to the sound when it fades into silence, okay? Let's see if you can hear it all the way until it's quiet. And everyone sit still and don't bother our neighbor next to you, okay? So let's sit still. There you go. If you're not still, then at least don't bother your neighbor. There you go. Close your eyes, but don't wrinkle your forehead. Just close your eyes. There you go. Relax. Don't need to try too hard. Just with each in-breath and out-breath, you check in with your body. You feel your lungs, your heart. And you check in with your feeling. How are you feeling? You feeling calm? A little bit agitated? Or do you feel peaceful? No one can bother me right now. With each sound, we just follow our breath. And you have a thought come up, just watch that thought, just like your friend trying to disturb you. So the thought comes, and you say hello, and then the thought goes. No need to attach to it or to follow it. Just a thought, just like our neighbor. Breathing in, I enjoy my in-breath. Breathing out, I smile to my out-breath. In, out. can open your eyes. Thank you for your practice. Does that feel better? Yeah? Thank you. So we're so lucky to have you come to the retreat. A retreat with just adults would not be complete. So we thank you for participating, and to your parents for bringing you, and for your parents to be your parents. So you're so. I watched some of your parents across the table at the lunch, and I feel so much love for them. You know, they have to take care of you when you're like a baby all the way until you're like, maybe a teenager, right? 24 hours, can you believe that? Day and night. And then when the baby wakes up, when you wake up at night, your mom or your dad have to wake up, right? And sometime all night, you just want to play, but your mom and dad are so tired, but they still got to play with you. Yeah? So this is something we forget sometimes, right? Like how much energy your parents put into taking care of you. And we don't know that. Sometimes we forget that. Actually, when we become an adult, we kind of forget that. That no matter how awful our parents were when we were a teenager, still there was a period maybe between when you were born to maybe 10 maybe, or even after that, where your parents put all their energy and they want to know where you are. They always worry for you. And when you're not around, they're still thinking about you. So when I watch your parent take care of the some of the young ones here, I just felt so much love from my mom and dad. Sometimes I forget. I don't remember them taking care of me, but I'm sure looking across the table, they took care of me like exactly like that. You know, there was a baby that was spilling food, and the mother had to breathe. And everybody at the table was looking. And it was so nice that you get your parent to get to practice here being a parent differently. And then eventually, the baby is too excited, and your dad has to take you out. Can you imagine that? Your mom doesn't get to eat because you have to take care of you out because they don't want you to get all frustrated. So she go out there and take care of you. So these are some of the things that are amazing that we forget how our parents took care of us. And I don't know why we forget these things. I can't remember much, but I remember my dad. One story a neighbor told me when I was a baby. And my dad has a motorcycle, a Honda motorcycle in Vietnam, and he likes to keep all his the metal on the bicycle, chrome, very shiny. And he also has a set of tools that he fixed the bike with, and it's very shiny. The chrome, very glossy, and glass, almost like a mirror. And my dad never lets anybody borrow his tools. But my neighbor one time came to Deer Park, and he found out I became a monk when I come to America. And he sat me down under a tree one time, and his wife was there, and he told me, I was your neighbor, and I want to tell you something about your dad. He never let us borrow his tools, but he let you play with it. I play with the tools, I like to clank it, and, my dad is like, wants the tool to be very clean and everything, but he let me play with his the tools. I'm sure I was making a lot of noise. I just have a feeling I was using it to do some funny stuff with it. So that's the gentleman, the neighbor in Vietnam who told me this. He didn't realize how precious, because I don't remember that. But the way he told me, it was like a jewel. I don't remember it, but he told me how much my dad, how he did that. And it was a way to touch my dad's love for me. Because when I was young, I grew up, I was very angry at my dad. Yeah? But I forget these things because my dad was trying really hard and it was very hard for him to adapt to America because he doesn't speak English and he couldn't find a job. But as a young teenager, I got very angry at him because he was not perfect dad that I wanted. So when this man told me this, that evening I was very, something happened. Something opened up more to know that, yeah, my dad, he loved us. Even, you know, as an adult, we don't see it. But when that memory is like a diamond to me, and it's still in my heart, the love of my dad. And these things, we all forget that. That's what, it's so precious. So once in a while, you look at a parent and how they're taking care of the kid, putting on the shoe. I love watching parents put on the shoe for their baby. It's so, it's the child is so helpless. The baby, needs the mom, right? And I think that's something I wanted to share with you about a memory that I have with my father. In front of me is a plant. Anyone know what this plant is? Sunflower plant? It's still blooming. You see that? Sunflower. Where do you think that sunflower come from? If there's a pot underneath, a garden. It came from a garden? A seed. Okay. Wonderful. Anyone else? The earth? The seed? Yeah, you agree with her? Yes? Flower watering. Okay, so water. It comes from water. Yes? What? Sunlight. Sunflower comes from sunlight. That's nice. Somebody should make a poem with that one. Someone else raised their hand. I saw that. Where was it? Ivy, did you raise your hand? Did you? It came from where? Yes, we had to bring it here. I can see the world forming. Different characters gonna make the world go round. I have a bunch of seeds, sunflower seeds. You think the seed and the sunflower are related? Yes? So if I plant the seed, what will happen? Go ahead. Yes. It will make more seeds. Great. This flower in here probably has hundreds of these seeds, right? Yes, I think I understand you. That's right. Yes. Yes, wonderful. I think are you a farmer? Or did you learn that in school?
Um,
It will sprout?
yeah, it'll sprout and then it'll get sunlight.
Yes.
And sunlight helps it grow.
Yes.
So then, that's how it like plants can't grow with just water.
Yes.
Because then how would they, like, plants are part of nature, and if they don't see sunlight, how would they know what nature is?
That's right. Wonderful. Thank you. Do you think the seed remembers that it was a plant, a sunflower, the seed? Does it remember that it was once a plant? Yes, you are very observant. Yes, we are using this. These are actually for you to eat later. So that, but it represents a seed that if it's not roasted, it's still fresh. Then you can plant it, right? Have you ever done that in school? I did that once. Yes, you're doing that at home. Wonderful. But do you think the seed remembers it when it was a plant? Yeah. It's funny, huh? It's very much like where we when we become. And does he think these plants and the seed are the same or are they different? They're different? Yes. It's very interesting to think about it, huh? That the plant grew from a seed, but then the seed also come from the plant. So which one came first? Yes, I know. When I was a kid, that bothered me a lot. This plant came first or this seed? I mean, of course, this is theoretical. Yes? That's right. I hated that one. And I still don't really like it either. It makes my mind go dizzy. Yes. Yeah, we call that continuation. Did you hear that word before here? Yes. Yeah, it will have to start like that, right? So this is an interesting thing for you to think about and continue to learn, right? Are you different from your mom or your dad? Yeah? Yes and no? You can say yes and no. Multiple choice, you cannot do that. All the above, that's right. I love that. They should have more boxes like that. Say it again. Yes, that's right. So are you? That's right. Wow. Okay, let's close our eyes. Can we remember when that happened? Like when we were an egg and a sperm? You can't remember that? Okay. Well, this is. So are you different? You're a continuation of your mom and dad. Sometimes we forget that. I think as you get around teenager, you're gonna develop another brain where you actually will see a lot of that. So this is something for you to reflect more about. So I share this as an example of the sunflower and the seed, all right? And your relationship with you and your mom and your dad and your parents, okay? So you're kind of like a seed and you continue your mom and dad. Isn't that beautiful? Yes? So it's not the same exactly and it's not different either. So the bottom box is both, all of the above, right? And sometimes our parents too. They forget that you are them, and you are their continuation.
I can't remember how I looked inside my mom's belly, even though I had my eyes open.
Yeah, it's
I can't even remember how my mom's voice was.
yeah.
I was inside because I still forget that.
That's great. I think you know, one thing I like to do, I like to lay in the hammock and I curl like a shrimp, and then I push a little bit and I swing on the hammock and I pretend I'm in the womb of my mom. It's such a nice meditation. And then I fall asleep. It's so nice, you know, to be on a hammock and to, that's how, you know, you can use, if you next time you're on a hammock, curl yourself like a shrimp and roll, okay? So that's something I want you to look into more and invite your parents too, all right? Next time it gets really hot in the house and they may be angry and stuff, and say, Mom, Dad, I'm your continuation. Okay, when they're angry at you, okay? Just go like, I give you a trick. You take your hand, you go like that, right? Mom, Dad, I am your continuation. Remember, Brother Popcorn say that. So this will be a very good tool for you. So please use it, okay? They're here, so they know they're gonna act differently, okay, when that happens. So now you're equipped with a Dharma instrument. Yes, it works. Many parents come back and complain to us that I wish you didn't teach them that. Thank you for listening. This is something I learned from my teacher. I wanted to share with you. And I want to share with you another story, a short story, okay? When I was little, you know, I had to give away all my toys. Can you imagine? How many of you have toys at home?
Does crafts count?
Yes, anything that you play with, yeah? Board games, anything. I had to give all my toys away. And I had a little bike with a wheel in the front and two wheels on the side, and you sit, and it's plastic. You know, it's my favorite bike. I remember it still. It had like these flares on the side. And in Vietnam, there's not many toys. But my family, I was very lucky. I had toys. And I had to give it all away. And my parents never told me why. And then one night, my family, my mom and dad, my grandma, we had to escape. And we go to the beach. And we go on a canoe. And the adults pick me and my sister and my two younger brother onto the canoe. And then the canoe take us out to a smaller boat. And then that boat has an engine. And it go out into a bigger boat. Well, not so big, but big for me. And that boat take us out into the dark ocean. Can you imagine that? Pretty scary, huh? You have no idea what's happening to you. So this is what my childhood, I had this experience of being picked up from one boat to the next boat to the next. And nobody told me where I was going. And my family later on told me when we finally reached an island in Hong Kong called Macau. Huh? And later I grew up, my parents told me that we had to leave our country, Vietnam, because it was getting kind of dangerous for my dad. He's Chinese. So it was, you know, we had to escape to protect our family. And many families had to do that. So I'm what you call a refugee. I had to escape our country. Like, can you imagine you had to leave America and go to another country? Yeah, that's what I had to do. And I didn't know that as a kid, right? So As I grew up older and older, I find out more why we had to leave. And this is a kind of like a memory that I always try to remember and never forget. You know what a refugee is? Yes?
I read it, my brother, he had a summary and I read it with him. It's called Refugee. There are 3 kids who are refugees.
That's right. Yes. It's sad, huh? But sometimes because adults they have conflict, right? As two nations, and it gets really troublesome, right? So sometimes in the adult world, things like that happen, and a lot of children suffer a lot. Like I grew up with that, so I understand that. You know, I know that's part of my history, and I don't ever want to forget it. Yeah, I have I made a little boat, a craft to remind myself that of that journey that I had to take. Can you imagine? And on the boat when we were traveling, and I can still remember these flying fishes. They jump. You ever seen flying fishes? Have you ever seen that? They flew onto our boat, and that boat was packed. It was maybe like half of this room, that long, and it was probably, you know, a little wider than this. But we had like maybe over 100 people on there, and we were all crunched up. My grandma, my aunt, and her kids, my mom and dad, and then the 4 of us, my big sister, my 2 younger brother, and we each get a bag of food, and we have to eat slowly, a little bit only, because each family, each group, gets only a bag and a little container of water, and we have to. They call it rationing, because we don't know how long we have to go in the ocean, and so we were kind of like, we ate food, but we were not really like fully satisfied. You know, it's kind of like, oh, I wish I could have more, but there's no more. So they keep passing out like that. But I remember these fishes jumped onto our boat, and they look like a dragonfly for like a second, and they hop on, and then people wanted to keep it and eat it, and the man who my parents told me that we couldn't eat it because while we were traveling on the boat, we were praying to be saved because we don't know how long we will be in the ocean. So while you're praying to be saved, you should not kill anything, not even a fly. But these fishes jumped on, and so we got instruction. Everyone get instruction to try to catch it and throw it back. So can you imagine? You're hungry, not enough food, and the fishes seem like they want to offer their body to us. You know, but out of because we want to be saved, we want to respect life, we could die. Therefore, we had to give all the fishes back. Everyone had to throw the fishes back. Can you imagine that image? I remember those fishes. It's very hard to forget because they jump all over, and it was a lot. And people were not many space, right? But for some reason, it jumped on our boat. That was one memory I have. Very interesting memory. One day I would love to go out on the ocean, Pacific Ocean, on a boat, like, you know, just far where you don't see any land left, to remember again and to check my memory. And another memory I had was we saw a sea turtle. I remember looking over and seeing like something like big, and I checked with my parents, and they said that we come across a sea turtle, and that was the reason why actually we were saved, because if you know sea turtles, that means there's land around. So we started to follow the turtle, and this is one of the reasons that we were able to find land eventually, and not be stuck out in the ocean. Many boats were stuck out there for like weeks and months, and they ran out of food even. You have a question?
What kind of sea turtle was it?
I don't know, but it must be a sea turtle because it's, Yeah, yeah. I just remember the image looking over, and I have another weird image, but I don't know if it's true. It's like I look down and I remember seeing something like shiny shine back at me, and I don't know. I can't tell if it's my memory or it's my imagination. But these are things that happen as you have distance from them. And then when we first come to America, you know what happened? We were sponsored by a church. These church people, they heard about all these Vietnamese people leaving, and they sponsored my family to come. And you know what they did? They bought a huge house, 2-story, yeah, huge house, and they allow our family to live in there. Yeah, it was just my dad, my mom, my grandma, and the 4 of us. And guess what? It's 2-story, so each one of us had our own room. I had my own room, my sister, even if they're a kid, and we had another room, and guess what it was filled with? Toys. I never forget it. We had so many toys that it drove me crazy. I don't know what to play, because there's so many choices. And I remember opening the cupboard and so many food, cans. I mean, walls full of canned food. And so the church people, they'll donate the sofa, they donate this TV that had an antenna, and I remember very much. And we got a TV, a sofa. I remember we lived in like Washington. I don't know what city, but we came to Washington, and then we moved down to Oregon, and then to California. But I'll tell you a funny story. They give us all one room, and they told us, this is your room. And I remember, like, this is my, we have our own bed. But at nighttime, me, my brothers, and my sister, we all go in my parents' room, and we jump on their bed. Because it's scary to sleep alone. So the people found out, and my mom told me that they were, didn't understand why we had room, but we didn't sleep in there. And we all slept like 4, so there were 6 people on this huge bed. So we slept with my mom and dad. So that's a very cool, funny story that I remember of my childhood. And the toys, I'll never forget the toys. I got to play with new toys. And so slowly I grew up in America. And now I try very much to help people find a better way, right? And to especially play with you guys, yeah, to help you appreciate your mom and your dad. So that's a story I want to tell you about my childhood. Because when I see you, I remember my childhood and how lucky you are to have your parents and you don't have to escape. So that's a little bit of my history for you, okay? So thank you for listening. Do you have a question?
How long were you on the boats for?
Yeah, my parents told me we're a week and a half, almost 2 weeks. Yeah. So we were lucky. And we did run out of food, but we still had water. I don't remember this, but I remember being hungry. And then when we were saved by a British liner, and they were coming to Hong Kong, and they crossed us, and they brought us onto the big giant boat. And I remember these people, and I remember white clothing, and I remember they gave me an apple. And in my memory, the apple is this big. I swear, I'm not making it up. It's like in my mind, because maybe I was really hungry, but I remember holding the apple, and in my mind, it's this big. But maybe my hand was small. But that's we were very lucky, so we were saved, and now I try to look back all these online sites that has refugees in the Macau area, and I try to look for a picture because we don't have any picture. We lost all our picture and all our belongings. We don't have any childhood stuff. A few childhood pictures, and we left with nothing, just our clothes, our pants and our shirt. Can you imagine that? No paper. I don't even have a birth certificate. My dad had to make it up. In fact, my mom said he made up our birthdays. No, he didn't. But anyway, that's a good story I wanted to tell you, and I hope you, can know a little bit about my history and of the refugee people. And my teacher also is a refugee, and so very, very lucky that we are now in America and to be able to retreat with you. And thank you for being here and being so lovely. Yeah. So thank you for listening too. So with the sound of the bell, you can stand up and bow to your parents and go out and play. Okay. All right. Stand up. Turn around. Join your palms. And when you hear the sound of the bell, you can bow. Okay. Okay. Have fun. See you later. Dear respected teacher, dear noble family, today is August 23rd, year 2024, and it's our last day of our retreat on Mother Earth, our true nature. I realized telling that story, you should have these warnings. What is it? It could trigger, but you should see their face. It's so beautiful. They're just very interested. I guess they haven't had that experience, so maybe it's hard to trigger that. But lately, the last maybe since I met my teacher, I had to reflect a lot about my past and my parents, of course, and then going further and further into our people and what happened and so on. So it's a very beautiful a journey to really look at our culture, our past, our upbringing. Very important in our journey to find out my Chinese ancestry. And I found out that my grandfather also escaped China for a very similar reason, political upheaval and also during that time. And he came to Vietnam. And my dad was born in China. So it's very interesting that my grandparents escaped a system. I guess they call it, I don't know what they call it, communism. But they escape oppression, more like it. Just human pride and hate and so on. And then my parents escaped Vietnam. They come to America. They also escaped a kind of oppressive. My dad is Chinese, and they were locking down on Chinese family. And in the neighborhood, we had a lot of Chinese family, and we found out that one of the family kind of like disappeared without anyone knowing. And that kind of like was a mindfulness bell for my dad. He didn't want us to leave, but I think it was a little scary. I remember as a kid, there was a grenade, a tear gas thing, the one that has the smoke, and we had to run out of our house. And my grandma had a wet cloth on my eyes, and I remember that. So it's funny, you remember really traumatic things, spotted here and there. So it's a little bit of a, you have to revisit those things. And it's funny, my parents escaped Vietnam, and then, I grew up in America, and then I like to say that I also escaped America. Not in the sense of a country, but I jumped out of the loop of, I don't know what kind of system, but definitely a unhealthy system as growing up in America. And I am very grateful to have actually experienced growing up in America. So it's not with ingratitude, but with a lot of gratitude of all the conditions that kind of made who I am right now. And growing up and being disconnected to my culture and my family and my Vietnamese background. And it was Thai who helped me come in touch with that. I actually forgot how to speak Vietnamese, and I didn't want anything to do with Vietnamese people. That's how Americanized I was. I actually did not like my culture. I had to hide my lunch from my friends because it just smelled differently, stuff like that. And so with my teacher, he really helped me grow and learn and evolve and transform all that suffering, all that, tightness growing up. And then through that, I was able to transform my ideas and my anger and my resentment towards my dad. I tell this story all the time because that is the thing that makes me feel indebted to my teacher, that he helped me to reconcile with my dad before he passed. And I was at his bedside. I took care of him for over a year when he was sick with cancer. So for me, that is the most rewarding thing. Whew, how did I get into that? Yeah, now I get very teary when I talk about dad or talk about Thai. But it is a thing that we all have to go through, like the sunflower and the seed. And because of human, we're very blessed to have memory, but we're also cursed because we have memory. You see that? And this is what I want to share. And this is what Thai helped me with. And the only thing so basic, you can learn more, you can read more about Buddhism, but in the very end, all it is to revise our story. That's it. That's like basically it. Of course, a Buddhist technical word is called right view or insight or nirvana. Nirvana is the ending of all views. You're like, what does that mean? It means get rid of that one, that view that doesn't help, right? That resentment, that narrative. And we have these stories that we carry on. And that's okay, of course. We can't have, that's what's beautiful about culture, is we have stories. We have stories that inspire. We have stories that uplifts, encourages, and brings beauty, compassion, and love. And we have stories that don't help. So that's all the Buddha was trying to help with. If he realized anything, he realized, like, boy, people really make up a lot of unhealthy stories, unskillful stories. And for me, I don't aspire to get enlightened and reach nirvana. My only aspiration is to revise, keep updating my story to the very end. Because I can always continue to update my story, to learn more about myself, my history, my upbringing, my parents, and to learn about other people's stories and the world, a new story for what's the purpose? Is it money, fame, sensual pleasure, accumulation of material things? So we all have to ask ourselves, as a culture, as a human family, what is the story to ask? So this is, for me, the kind of like cream of the Buddha's teaching and practice, is to help us have right view. And this is very challenging because it's very hard for us. Just as we don't remember something about our upbringing, we're also very stubborn to not let go of our view. This is my principle. This is how I believe. This is how the world works. And this is the nature of suffering, our notions. And that's why we have resentment, we hold on to things, that's why we get tight, and it's hard to breathe sometimes in a conversation. And there's also a reason why we fear. We fear. We fear others, we fear our safety. So the way we've been acculturated, education, media, and so on, there's a lot of fear about other people and other things, fear of governments, fear of, and the fundamental fear of our death, our ending, fear of our sickness, which is very strange because it's something you cannot avoid. There's no pause button. And so this is what Thai helped me with, and the Buddhist teaching is to help remove our notions and revise it. So it's not to, ideally to have it's very hard to not have a story. If I ask you who you are, or everybody lives with story, and that's what makes this also beautiful. The what's the word? The dichotomy, the what? A very it's like, gosh, yeah, they both happen at the same time. It makes us wonderful to have memory and to have a narrative about ourselves and where we come from, the richness of all these stories. But then there are some that don't help because it makes us fearful, it makes us lose our path, it makes us resentful. And this is what Thai helped me and I think we've learned this with our parents, the 5-year-old child. Did we have that guided meditation? Yeah, that was a basic one that helped me, the 5-year-old, seeing my father as a 5-year-old. And the one that also helped me was also this acceptance, our relationship to Mother Earth, and to see life as a force within us and the planet, the biosphere, and that exists is a wonder. So I try to keep my perspective. And this is something Thai spent his whole life, before even leaving Vietnam to call for peace. He was already helping and teaching about Buddhism and how to remove wrong perception. So he came to America to help remove our wrong perception about our nation, our country, what we were doing, as we are trying to do now in Palestine, in Gaza, in Ukraine. You see the perpetual misunderstanding, fear, and demonizing and otherizing others. And that's the only way we're going to get people to harm each other, is that you make the other people a threat. And this is, we keep doing that as a human family. And this is, I feel, our teacher, his whole life doing that. And we need more of us to continue to do that, to break down narratives that don't help, to update and revise narratives. So if you're a politician, if you're a newspaper person, a teacher, question the narrative of what is our purpose as a human being. We're gifted, we've evolved. And the way I've looked about our, I keep this perspective about how we our Mother Earth, the life, is evolved to become like this awareness and this memory. You know, in the meditation, that really helps me to see the arc of evolution. And we're still, you know, mudding each other, right? And with that mud, flowers and lotuses do bloom if we continue to do the work. That's really kind of helped me continue to do my work, my service to our human family. So Thai had many ways to help us remove our notion. And you know, before coming to this retreat, the brothers and sisters, the ones who were giving a talk, we wanted to share an aspect about how Thai taught, what Thai, some of the things that he taught. Sister Kinim, she did the 100%. You remember that? Our teacher would do that. And also, she also actually did the Today's Day. So we are honoring, paying tribute to our teacher. And Brother Phapdu did the pebble meditation. And I want to share with you a teaching that Thai gave that still is a Zen reflection for me. And I think some of you know, it's the famous Matchbox. And some of you don't know, but this is, you know, when I first heard it, it just blew my mind, and it showed me how much our teacher is so down to earth. He uses so simple tools. We call it Dharma tools. This is one of the Dharma tools that I use, a matchbox. And he'll hold it up, you know. He had a huge matchbox from France, and each stick was like that long. I don't know what you use for, but it's huge, you know. It was this is what Sister Kingham found for me. So she's so sweet. She heard I wanted to do this, but I didn't have any matches. She went and found them. And Thai would ask, it's like, you know, this a reflection. Can people see a flame? Thai would ask. I was like, no, I don't see any flame. Thai would say, but if you look closely, you can see a flame. Just because it's not there, it only needs one more condition. I remember that. Wow, it's so sweet. They say, it just needs one more help. A strike of a finger. And I would take out his match. And what I love about it is Thai would talk to the flame and to the match as if he was talking to a being, right? And Thai would say, hey, where are you, flame? Are you there? And I would be sitting there with my jaw open. It's like, God. So I invite all of you, the way our notions are. Right now, the flame is not there, but can we see it? This is the challenge. As human beings, we're trained a particular way. When it's not there, we don't see with our eyes, and we say, oh, it's not there. But if we are meditators, I would say, if we are poets, if we are outside box thinkers, can you see the flame? Yeah, it was very, you know, my mind, I was still very young. I was like, come on, you know, irrational mind, yeah? Very, and Thai would take and say, yes, one more last condition, and the flame will come. And Thai would go, hello, little flame. And Thai would say, where did you come from? Thầy would say, where did you go? You see our notions? Did you die? Did you become nothing? Yeah, this is a very delight, but also the most profound thing that you can find in Buddhism. This way of looking without your eyes. Where did it go? Did it die? Is it not there? And of course, Thầy would take another match. And Thầy said, is the flame, where is the flame? Is it inside or outside? I remember that. It's been a long time. I'm probably forgetting a lot of things, but Thầy would ask, is the flame inside the box or outside? Very good, huh? Yeah. And Thầy would lighten up. And I remember how gentle Thầy would treat the matches. This is, and of course, the other instrument was a candle. And Thầy would light a candle. And Thầy would say, oh, flame, where did you come from? Are you the same or are you different? Hello, little flame. Where did you come from? Are they the same or are they different? Are you the same or are you different? We can close our eyes. Follow our breathing. And we conjure up the image of our parents. Conjure the image of our siblings. Our relatives. Our human species. Our neighbor. The person we meet along the path. A stranger. Are we the same or are we different? think, like I shared, one of the primary thing that the Buddhist path, the Buddhist practice help us is to remove our notion. And in the Buddhist teaching, there's many tools, many ways of framing things to help us. I think our teacher invented a word interbeing as to help us see the relationship. You know, I like to have this question, like a scientist. I invite all of you who are scientists out there to look and find something that it can exist separately by itself. I mean, that, I don't know if they've done PhD or anybody's done a paper on it yet. But you know, you have these laws of physics, laws of thermodynamics. I wonder if there's a way we can create a law just to bring it into the realm of science, the law of interbeing. And then someone can write a formula. Any of you like physicists and mathematicians, please write us a law so it can be added on to I think it's starting to be there around the quantum area. These kind of weird, quirky, don't make sense laws, which I love. They sound a little bit philosophical. But I would love, instead of like besides E equals mc squared, we should try to invent a language that expresses the nature of codependent connection, interconnection. I know that's a philosophical idea or even religious idea, but like, can you try to make a formula for that and prove it and like, so it's in the language of science. That's my dream, but I don't have the ABCs to do it. But that's always been my, and I do keep that eye to like look around and see with that kind of eye to try to find something. And I sometimes I would just sit and look at something, a boulder or a leaf or something, and try to see how far I can go with it and find its end. It's a great exercise if you've not done it. Or even a cushion, or sometimes I'm eating and then I stop. I know I should be paying attention to the food, but I reflect on the fork, and I go, into the 4 or 5 directions, And it's such a beautiful way to look at the world. And emotions. Oh, I just got irritated. Where did that come from? I do that with my emotions as well. So there's a way of looking in the interbeing, interconnection of everything. They have cause and effect. And this, I would say, is the cream of the Buddhist teaching, the nature of interbeing, which is a very simplified, more clean word for codependent arising. And this is a beautiful way of looking to help us liberate ourselves. It's not there as a philosophical concept, but to help us. This morning we heard the chanting Heart Sutra, the Sutra on emptiness, and the beautiful line, look at the 5 skandhas, look at ourselves, our 5 skandhas, and found that they're empty of a separate self. And Thai updated that word emptiness, because then we got caught in the word emptiness, meaning we kept misunderstanding it as nothing is there. The Thai would say nihilistic view, that this vacuum. But Thai updated the teaching to make it more clear So when we use the word empty, it means empty of a separate self. I think Brother Paplu mentioned it, empty of a separate self entity even. So self here is a little bit humanistic, anthropocentric, right? But you add the word entity, it includes all phenomena, all the dharmas, all entities, anything that appear in the universe, it is linked with everything else. Isn't that beautiful? I think this is, and the nature of not same and separate, these are all tools for us to question, and they're all to help us have less suffering. This is also very important. These things, these tools, these concepts are not there to have a theory about the nature of the world. But the Buddha came up with these notions to help relieve our suffering. Those two is what distinguish. So there is an intention to help relieve suffering. So the Buddha even was quoted to say, all I've taught is to help and relieve suffering. I've taught nothing more than that. And that's something we must remember as we continue to learn. Because there's a part of us that really want to figure out like the nature of reality, the theory of everything. And one thing that helped me in the practice is to see interbeing. And another concept is the concept of things manifest when there's enough condition. And this is I'll go short. It's a whole spectrum of linked teaching, but that helped me a lot to always think of things having condition, many condition. So the person you're dealing with, they're reacting like that, they're behaving like that. There's many conditions, so you don't get caught in one entity, many causes and conditions. And the other one is it helps manifest. And then when there's not enough condition, the candle is not there. You see that? Manifest, not manifest. So you train yourself to look at the world like that. And it will help you suffer less. Good luck. I'm still working on it, you know. I forget because it was so easy to like make something into an entity, and it's like, no, it's you. You did it. You said it. And you take a look, and it's like, well, I know why they said it. Oh, yeah. Oh. And it goes on. You see that? Understanding helps us liberate ourselves from that view, lessening the suffering, lessening our reaction. You see the nature, why we have some concepts about how things work. It doesn't mean it's the truth. It's just there to help you not create more unnecessary suffering. And this is, so manifestation and things coming together, condition to help something manifest. I'm sharing with you, this is how I practice, and it's helped me a lot. Like my dad is like that, all the things that he had to go through, all the loss that he must experience and produce who he is, liberate. I don't even need him to apologize. I don't even need to forgive him. Once you understand, there's no need for any of that. That is the power of insight. You don't need your dad to go say he's sorry. Tell Dad, now say sorry. Because once you understand, that is the miracle of insight. And all the cells in your body are not the same anymore. In fact, you start bawling. If you have true insight, you're going to bawl. Does that make sense? Bawl? Is that the word? Bawling? You know that word? I used to use that when I was young. I was at a first retreat, and I have no idea, but I was bawling. And I sat in the front so that nobody can see that my whole shirt is wet. So insight is not going around like, oh, now I'm wise and I have all this insight. I can tell it is insight when your eyes are red and you are like just melted like a piece of butter. Vegan butter, yeah. And so this is, so I'm just, I can't do what I teach very deeply and eloquently, but I just share with you things that help me become a happier person, and I continue to do that with people. So those are some of the. Another thing is continuation. I think you know that. So this continues because we create condition for it. Bob Lou said the other day, everything needs food. Very important in our practice. Your sadness, your depression, your anger, your compassion, your kindness, these things need food. They continue because you keep feeding it. The plant, everything that is alive, living, needs food. In fact, the planet, the earth, the mountain, in a way, has its own food system. So remember that. That really helped me, everything, right? And we feed ourselves through our images, our ideas. So be careful what you're eating in the next couple of months in terms of news, okay? It will feed your fear or it can feed your compassion. So these are continuation. Why do you keep eating it? So it can continue. So figure out the source of that food. And some of it needs to be nipped. Don't feed it anymore because it's not helping. So another way of saying your story keeps being fed about yourself and other people and the world and how it is and how things work. You keep feeding it. If you're a rational mind, you keep feeding the rational mind, and it will, has its limit until something breaks and it doesn't make sense. And then you get off fizzle like I did when things start to don't make sense. And one other aspect that helped me is that organic nature. I use the word organic. All phenomena are not only empty of a separate self, their nature is organic. Isn't that beautiful? That's like an upgrade to impermanence. It's not only deteriorating, but it's organic. So you can take something impermanent and bring back the flower. That really helped me. So impermanent, I said, long live impermanence, because without impermanence you can't change, things can't be, life and death can't evolve. But I love the word organic because, of those who've done organic farming, like you don't throw anything away. Okay, remember that. Your suffering, do not throw it away. It is very rich. And this is a real key thing that helped me. We want to get rid of suffering. Ugh, I don't want to be like that. And that's why we continue to be like that. But if you bring it closer, you turn that compost pile, and it gets really hot and uncomfortable, then what happens? You learn to be with it, learn how to suffer. I've never met a teacher in my whole entire life, in my reading and real physical life, a teacher that says, you need to learn how to suffer. Tai was the first teacher I've ever heard say that. I was like, what? You need to know how to suffer, and you'll suffer less. Brilliant. That should be a calligraphy for the planet. We need to know how to suffer, and you'll suffer less. Meaning you need to know how to handle your compost, the mud, and naturally it will enrich your life. It will make you more human. It will make you more easy to approach. all those things, And so this is organic, okay? Another thing about organic is there's progress if you feed it. You don't feed it, it regresses. So it removes the whole idea of pure, ultimate, absolute anything. If you don't take care of it, your family, your love, your compassion, it will slowly get really moldy and sour and stinky. So everything needs our attention and care. And this is, just want to touch base, pay tribute to our teacher. And we are continuing to practice that, to handle our fear of of our, what do you call it, our ending, right, our life, our death. And this is something, I took care of my dad, and I watched him. And that's something, what I learned, and I watched, I was in the side bed of many people who passed away in the hospital and nursing home. And I realized that, when we get to that point, it's very hard for the mind to hold back the subconscious, the underneath stuff, and those things arise. So now, as practitioner, we train to really revisit, update, and take care and manage our hidden pain and whatever that is. I saw that with my dad. I saw it with many older people, because that, when you get to that point, your fear, your thing, you cannot have, your mindfulness is not enough to hold it. So it has its own life. And this is, for me, it motivates me a lot to practice, to really take care and really examine a lot of things that I have that are, tight. And this is what I want to share in our fear of death. It's actually finding our peace with that is the key to, transitioning beautifully. And I was next to my dad, and I reminded him of our lunches together. I was like holding his hand. And I remember the birds that he couldn't believe flew to our table, our lunch table one afternoon. So I had beautiful memories to keep him focused on the wonders of our being together. And I told him how we loved him and that we are his continuation. Dad, I'm Chinese. Chinese fathers love to have continuation, I was like, thank you for taking us out of our country and finding safety. And I was able to say all that, even though, he was not responding. So these are things that we try to help. I know what's most in his heart. He loved my mother very much. And so these things you water, you feed. This is something very important for us to motivate us to practice, to let go of whatever that we're holding that is not helpful. Because in the end, you're going to lay there and, you what's in your heart, love, openness. And hopefully by that time, you're trained enough to not be fearful, to see what we've been touching this whole retreat. That is, I would say, life. And I just want to end here by reading to you something beautiful that our teacher wrote that will help you touch this. And it's a conversation with the leaf that our teacher had. One autumn day, I was in a park, absorbed in contemplation of a very small but beautiful leaf. And in the shape of a heart, the leaf. Its color almost red, and it was barely hanging on the branch, nearly ready to fall down. I spent a long time with it and asked the leaf many questions. I asked the leaf whether it was scared because it was autumn and the other leaves were falling. The leaf told me, "No, Tai. During the whole of spring and summer, I was very alive, and I worked hard and helped nourish that tree. And much of me is in that tree. Please do not say that I'm just this leaf form, because this leaf form is only a tiny part of me. I am the whole tree. I know that I'm already inside the tree, and when I go back to the soil, I will continue to nourish the tree. That's why I do not worry. As I leave this branch and float to the ground, I will wave to the tree and tell her, I'll see you again very soon." And suddenly, I saw a kind of wisdom, very much like the wisdom contained in the Heart Sutra. You have to see life. You should not say life of the leaf, but you should say, only speak of life in the leaf, life in the tree. My life is just life, and you can see it in me and in the tree. The day there was a wind blowing, that day the wind was blowing, and after a while I saw that leaf leave the branch and float down to the soil, dancing joyfully because it had floated. It saw itself already there in the tree. It was so happy. In that moment, I bowed my head, and I knew that we have a lot to learn from that leaf. And I wrote a poem. Tomorrow, I will continue to be, but you will have to be very attentive to see me. I will be a flower or a leaf. I will be in these forms, and I will say hello to you. If you're not attentive enough, you will not recognize me, and you may greet me, and I will be very happy. And this is something we all need to hold, and a way of looking at the world and our human form, so that when you it's time to, autumn time for you, or autumn time for any of us, that we can smile. And Thai Yak Tan, he tried to sit up. I was at his deathbed. He tried to sit in full lotus because we were making fun of him. They say, "Tai, you're a Zen master. You can't die in a hospital. You got to die in full lotus." And then, and then early morning he wakes up and then he starts folding his leg, and we're like, no, we were just kidding. So he got us, So he ended up joking on us, right? Few hours before he passed, he was able to joke. That is how I'm going to go. I told all my siblings, and I tell you now, when I go look at my left eye, I'm going to go like that. I don't think I'll be able to do full lotus. But I'm training now to when I'm breathing my last, and it will be the out breath. Seriously, I lay in my bed and I go. You keep doing it, and in athletics is muscle memory, right? And I will go, and then it's gonna bring a smile to my brothers and sisters, I'm sure. So that's what I leave with you. No fear, no death is all as the planet, as we've been contemplating this whole entire retreat. Your children, your siblings, please help us. And someone asked, what do we do with this political situation? Some of the questions, 3, 4 questions. It's like, what do you think a retreat is if it's not a protest? We are not here to be comfortable. We're here to question all the narratives and what our purpose is. So I want to invite you to join. I have a new party. It's the brown party. Not the green party, but the brown party. And you need to look. We go to retreats not to be comfortable, to really face our deepest fear, to face our deepest suffering. So what? So we become more human. And when we become more human, we would treat every other human being. And we would never pick up a gun or support anybody to pick up a gun. So a retreat is not to eat and to go around feeling comfortable. So we need to revise what a retreat is. It's a protest. But what are we protesting? Not against anyone. We're protesting the narratives that don't work. And we need to help other people. So those who take the 5 mindfulness training, you're like now soldiers. And you're armed with the insight of what really matters. That is our party's platform. The Brown family. So please go spread it. You don't need to vote. But know that there's another party. Don't put your egg in the other parties. Go vote, but you're going to get disappointed anyways. Come on. Don't put it in the political. Do your work. Make meaning. Bring it close to you, your purpose. Don't put it on the other people. Don't wait for other people to tell you what is a better way to live. That is how we live. So politics is just one drama. We have another drama. Do go vote, do whatever, but just do not put all your eggs in there, okay? We create a new party, a brown party. That means you do it everywhere you go. Everywhere you go, you're voting. When you buy, when you treat the one who puts your vegetable in your pocket, in your basket, you treat everyone like that. So politics is not about voting and being on the news. Politics is choice, the policy. So it's about choice of how we want to live in the world and what is valuable. Money, fame, power. We have a different category. Freedom, compassion, tolerance, acceptance. It's nice to hear, compassion on a political platform. But we will see. You see, it depends on what they are feeding. Once you have power, other things get fed. So this is how things work. You have to be careful of what we feed. So we need to continue to feed and to push for the values and the things that truly are meaningful in the world. And don't get caught by the superficial successes. So I just leave with that, because I know there were a lot of questions yesterday about how to engage now. And I leave with you that, with the image that there's another party, and it's the brown party, which means being humble, questioning everything. Don't question everything, your perception especially. So don't be too sure. Very, very important. So thank you for helping us spread the brown party. And I wish you luck, and please spread the joy and the happiness and the compassion and the compost. Spread the compost. Don't throw it away.